At the tunnel by the Pont d'Alma, Parisians and tourists alike came in droves. Some came simply to stare, but most came in a sort of spontaneous pilgrimage to the road where Princess Diana's car crashed and killed her.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 weirdest conspiracy theories about Diana, Princess of Wales.
I, for one, believe there are lessons to be drawn from her life and from the extraordinary and moving reaction to her death.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at the strangest conspiracy theories about Princess Diana's tragic death. Let us know in the comments which theory you think is most ridiculous. Number 10. No CCTV. In 2004, the conspiracy theories surrounding the Princess of Wales, even 7 years on from her death, became so extreme that a new investigation was opened by the Met.
I was a separated wife to the Prince of Wales. I was a problem, full stop. Never happened before. What do we do with her?
Called Operation Paget, this inquiry dealt with many of the lingering questions, including the apparent lack of CCTV in the tunnel. As some people see it, the car went into the tunnel, and we have little idea what happened to it between then and it crashing.
It was here just after midnight that a Saturday night out in the City of Lights turned to tragedy.
So why is it that there were no cameras? Did somebody really erase the footage? No, it just so happened that all of the cameras in the area, none of them were monitoring the entrance to the underpass and were instead looking at buildings. Number 9. Blood tests. It's widely accepted and has been proven in court that the car's driver, Henri Paul, was under the influence when the fatal collision happened, but many have disagreed with this.
Circumstantial evidence at least that the driver lost control while driving at very high speed.
It's been claimed that CCTV evidence back at the Ritz showed Paul wasn't drunk at all, with some suggesting that the blood tests had been faked. Stranger yet, one of the lead investigators and Met Commissioner, Lord Stevens, apparently told Paul's parents that he wasn't drunk at the time. Nobody's too sure why he said this, but repeated tests have still shown that Paul was way over the legal limit, and this contributed to the accident. Number 8. White Fiat Uno. Much has been made of this mysterious car.
We do believe that there was a glancing contact between the Mercedes driven by Henri Paul and a white Fiat Uno just before the Alma underpass.
Forensics showed a white Fiat Uno had at least dinged the Mercedes as it left behind some paint, but no witnesses had seen such a vehicle go into the tunnel. The driver nor car have never been conclusively identified, though there have been at least 2 prominent suspects.
It's been alleged that he was the driver of the Fiat Uno, and also that he was an agent of the security services.
One of those suspects, journalist James Anderson, tragically took his own life 3 years after the car accident, further fanning the flames, while another is said to have repainted his white car red only hours after the crash. But they've both been ruled out as being involved in any sort of conspiracy, despite lingering questions over the missing vehicle.
There is no evidence that James Anderson was an agent for any security service.
Number 7. Sabotage. One major point of evidence in the various investigations that have been done into the accident is that neither Princess Diana nor her boyfriend Dodi Fayed were wearing seatbelts. People have pointed out that it's unlikely the Princess of Wales wouldn't wear a seatbelt, especially involved in a high-speed chase, leading some to allege that the car seatbelts may have been sabotaged. It was found that the lack of seatbelts worn did contribute to the injuries of the crash's victims, and it's possible that had she worn one, she could have survived. However, no forensic examination has found evidence of the seatbelts, or anything else for that matter, being tampered with. Number 6. Pregnancy. Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed, son of Egyptian billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed, hadn't been together very long when the fatal accident happened.
The precise details are still sketchy, but the Mercedes 600 carrying the princess, her Egyptian companion Dodi Al Fayed, a driver and a bodyguard emerged from the tunnel a complete crumpled wreck.
But that hasn't stopped people, specifically Mohammed Al Fayed himself, from claiming that Princess Diana was pregnant and that the two of them were engaged. They actually weren't engaged, and no evidence was found by pathologists that the princess was pregnant at all. Plus, if she had been pregnant, she certainly wouldn't have been driving around with no seatbelt on. Al-Fayed said that the crash was engineered to stop an Egyptian entering the royal family. Though when Diana had previously been attached to Pakistani heart surgeon Hasnat Khan, the royals had given their blessing.
First, I want to pay tribute to Diana myself. She was an exceptional and gifted human being.
Number 5. Paparazzi wanted the car to crash. Diana was hounded by the press from the moment she became engaged to then Prince Charles to her death. And this harassment was, according to some courts, the cause of the crash.
Given the manner in which the paparazzi chased Princess Diana, this, in the eyes of many observers here, was an accident waiting to happen.
While French authorities blamed the driver for the accident, British courts in 2008 ruled that she had been unlawfully killed, in part because of the paparazzi. But what if the paparazzi had been intending to cause the car to crash?
She won't go quietly, that's the problem. I'll fight till the end.
Well, though there's no evidence to this, it's something many people have chosen to believe in the years since, that the paparazzi were actively involved in a huge assassination plot. Number 4, the driver worked for MI6. One of the most outlandish theories is that Henri Paul was actually an MI6 agent, and that British intelligence services were to blame for carrying out the elaborate hit.
She wrote me a note, which I still have, saying that it all made sense.
This theory came from a genuine former MI6 agent who claimed he'd seen evidence that proved Paul was on MI6's payroll. But that former agent, Richard Tomlinson, is far from a credible source.
And I think that she was looking for a reason as to why things were as they were.
It's true that he did work for MI6, but later went to prison for violating the Official Secrets Act with a book he planned to release. Investigations found all of his claims were totally baseless, and he wasn't trustworthy in the least. It's a wonder he got into MI6 in the first place. Number 3, delayed treatment.
The French capital's emergency services immediately announced Mr. Al-Fayed and the driver had died, but it took them 2 hours to cut the princess out of the twisted wreckage.
Diana didn't die on impact, and was still alive when in the ambulance taking her to the nearest hospital, though unfortunately the nearest one wasn't equipped for major trauma.
And it was at the hospital that 4 hours after the crash her death was announced by Bruno Rioux, the doctor who had tried to save her life.
But treatment took a while and the ambulance drove very slowly, leading some to theorise that the medics attending the scene delayed treatment on purpose, to be sure of her death. However, those very doctors explained to investigators that the reason the ambulance needed to drive slowly was to keep Diana's blood pressure in check, as regularly accelerating and decelerating would have been medically dangerous. In the end, she did sadly pass away from her severe injuries some hours after the accident.
I hope that tomorrow we can all, wherever we are, join in expressing our grief at Diana's loss and gratitude for her all too short life.
Number 2, bright flashes. Another theory that originated from things shamed MI6 agent Richard Tomlinson said is that the crash was engineered by bright flashes, which blinded Paul. Multiple eyewitnesses said they saw flashes in the tunnel, but the witness testimonies conflicted with each other and didn't add up under scrutiny. There was also the fact that the flash wasn't witnessed by any of the paparazzi who gave chase, who definitely would have seen such a thing had it happened. Weird as the theory is, the numerous investigations found that it simply has no basis in fact, despite members of the public still believing in it. Number 1, Prince Philip ordered it.
Show us there's a heart in the House of Windsor, says the Sun. It's proof the royals are not like us, the Mirror.
Yes, of all the members of the royal family said to want Diana out of the picture, conspiracy theorists often blame the late Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, for hatching the plan. Again, this was something alleged by Mohammed Al-Fayed, who said the Duke specifically did not approve of Diana's relationship with Dodi. But there is simply no evidence that any members of the royal family colluded to get rid of Diana. Not Prince Philip, not the Queen, and not Charles either. Even their delayed response to her tragic death was explained as them wanting to ensure William and Harry in Balmoral Castle at the time were protected from the media.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.